guys, and welcome back to the Ride Right Waxing and UK One World channel. So, I am not an elf, like my last video. I must admit, these skis come up wonderful, and they did look like those skis up there. So, this is just another family set of skis I've got in. I've got, obviously, his and her skis in the workshop tonight, and we're going to give these a really good going over. These are an exclusive Dynatstar set of ladies skis, 153 in length. And yeah, they're in very good condition, to be honest. We've got a little bit of a gouge just here. We're going to need to put a little bit of Heat-Tex in. The rails are in relatively good condition. They are still quite sharp. However, they are laced with a fair bit of corrosion just down the side edges, unfortunately. So we'll get those freshened up and tidied up and make sure they are super sharp as they are already. And then what we're also going to do is make sure that the bindings are all central. The ladies asked me to just make sure the bindings are all fixed and they are in the right place and they fit the boot. So, which is a really good idea. The lady and the gent has supplied me just one boot, that's all I need. And we're going to make sure the bindings are set up and they're central. So I've already kind of done that off camera. I've gone onto the website, we've had a look at the bindings, I've had a look at the credentials about the bindings. And to be fair, they're like all the other bindings. They slide and adjust. These are set to a 289 to a 301 at the front and a C-1 at the back. And you can just simply lift this lever up and you can slide. It's as simple as that. And that's why that credentials that I've just mentioned there is super important, because if ever you had your skis in a rack and somebody knocked them over, it caught this, it flipped that forward, you're thinking, well, what length were they, what size were they? Somebody put your skis on accidentally and adjusted them, or you lent them to someone. It's always a good tip to take a quick photo of your settings on your binding so you can quickly go straight back to the central point and you're ready to go. Also, what I've done is made sure we've set the DIN settings. These are actually set extremely low for the lady's ability. She's an intermediate skier. I've got the credentials. So we've got on the side of the boot, this is another reason for asking for the boot, we have a 295mm boot here, and this is always embossed on all boots. So if you needed to know the length of that on some of the calculators, I'm going to put that up on the screen just now so you can actually see it. 295 is the boot. And then obviously we've got the credentials, we've got the height, we've got the weight and the ski ability of the person that's riding the skis. You put all of that into the DIN calculator and it will give you a DIN setting. Now, this lady actually was just between kind of two bandings. If you go to the banding that actually she does sit in, she actually could fall into the banding just below. The banding that she sat in would give her 6.5 on the DIN setting. So I did the calculator, I expected you just seen just then, and I've taken it down the banding and it was a 5.5. So purely and simply, because we've just snipped over into other banding, I've actually set the DIN settings on both sets of skis to a 6. And that way then we're in between, and I think that gives a nice sensible 6 is a good solid, should we say, click out rate. And I think that should be no problem at all. They were set below 4. So that means obviously a quick fall or a knock and they would come off relatively easily, which can be a real pain if you are carving hard, etc. and you're riding hard, because the last thing you want is a ski to pop off. So these are now set at 6 off the credentials that I've obviously received. I've also gone over the boot just to make sure everything's all okay. Everything's all nice and tight. Another little tip also would be, when doing the bindings, if you know exactly where your foot is for comfort, and I mentioned that in this video here, get your boots out of the cupboard, garage, wherever they are, and get them on your feet. Think back to your holiday. Did you have a hot spot on your little toe, big toe, on your heel, etc.? And obviously just do some investigation into that now. Now's the time to get them out and play with them. These twist around relatively easily. So what you want to do is wind these in, wind them out to a sensible setting where you can engage onto the actual ratchet strap. But when obviously done up tight, like so, you can then go back and ratchet it again. By doing so, if you twist and count the amount of turns out, and just simply with a permanent marker, put 8, 5, 16 and 15, that way then you know that you can always adjust your boots to the perfect setting so you get the perfect comfort. And also, by doing so, you can check your insole. Always have a quick look at your insole. Make sure your insole's comfortable. Obviously, the bridge of your foot is a major game changer. If that is not supported when skiing, you can have a very uncomfortable day on the mountain. I know that from first experience. I bought what I thought was a very good set of snowboard boots, and you think they are all very comfortable. Day one, I was in absolute agony. I went to a ski shop and I had some heated molds put in my boots. I thought €100 a bit extravagant for an insole. Absolutely changed the way that I rode, and it changed my holiday. It was the best investment I think I've ever had, and I've actually fitted them in my brand new boots. I ride with a Burton boot because I find it fits my foot better, and absolutely phenomenal. So if there is ever a tip, count your twists, make sure they're all okay, take a photo of your stance, make sure that's all okay, and obviously, like I say, check out your insoles, and if you can get better ones, then obviously do so. Because you can have the fastest skis and the nicest skis on the mountain, but if your feet are killing you, you're not having a good time. The other thing also, what I have done is made sure these are central. We have a central line here on the boot, and we also have a central line on the ski. I've made sure the boot and the ski lines up perfectly, and that way then you're central in the ski with your boot. Now some skis will have an adjustment on them, and you might want to offset backwards your whole stance if you're riding a lot of powder or off-piste, or you want them central for riding park so you can ride switch, etc. And obviously do spins, knowing that you're going to land central in obviously on the ski. The other thing also, we have a indicator window just here. I don't know if you can see that in yellow. Once those ski boots are binded in, you want that so you can see the settings, so you've got the maximum max tolerance. If you can't see a line, these aren't adjusted properly. So I can go into a little bit more depth on that maybe in a different video. But I am more than happy now that these skis click into both very, very comfortably. Just going to make my life easier on my bench. There we go. So that is in. We've got a good tight fit all the way around. And I've got that lovely yellow marker just here in the window with the marker in there, so we can actually see that these are set up properly. So that's me going on. I'm going to get in and get these things serviced. But like I say, do get your boots out, guys. Do check them. Get them on your feet. Make sure you can adjust them so you know exactly what is good, what's not good. Walk around your house. Get them hot. Don't put them on for 2 minutes and think that's it. Put them on for a good half an hour, 40 minutes, an hour, so you can get them nice and hot and pliable inside and get your foot hot. And then you'll actually see what's good and what's not so good. And you've got time before hitting the slopes to fix it. I'm going to do the skis. I'm going to get into the bases, edges, and obviously get these waxed. And we'll get these back, and then we'll get onto the husband's pair of skis, which is a beautiful set of Atomics. So stay tuned, guys. Let's stick some music on, and let's crack on with this set of skis. Okay guys, so we have sharpened up the side edges and we've sharpened up these bases, and as you can see we've got a really good sharp edge there. There's my nail, so that is really ready to go. And what I've basically done is I use the traditional file, obviously at the set angle, and then I finish it off with a diamond stone, and that's both side and base. So I put a little lubricant on there just to free it up and make it glide nice, and obviously to give that cutting aspect side of things that even sharper feel. So we diamond stone both sides. I've dull and tipped the ends with a gummy stone, which is this little rubbery type sounding block here, and that way then it reduces catching on your tip and your tails, so all your drive is kind of this 90% of the ski. So we are ready to go. We've got a bit of a hole, just say a little bit of a hole. We actually had a bit of gravel in here, so we've managed to get that out and clean that up, but that's obviously a little bit of a dip. I wanted to try and get away with P-Texing, but I'm going to drop a little bit of P-Tex in there. There isn't really much more. I'm going to base scrape over this little line just here, and I've taken out the chatter marks with the base scraper, and then I'm going to do the whole ski obviously once done. And then we'll lay the wax down because it is actually quite dry. Now we've given it a citrus clean. So the base is all citron cleaned, ready to go. We better get those high spots just there off. Me being ultra fussy and finicky. but I like the ski to be as flat as possible and as smooth as possible. And if you've got any holes, it just creates obviously something from catching. It's just a real shame that there was a bit of gravel in here and we managed to get that, or gravel or salty rock or something, but that's all cleaned. I'll give it another quick clean in a second with a fresh bit of scourer and some obviously citrus cleaner to make sure there's no wax in there. And then we'll drop a little bit of P-Tex in there. We'll base scrape that. I'm going to do the same to the other ski, just check that over. This one here is pretty much the same. We've got a couple of gouge marks just here, but not enough to pick the back of the rail up. I may just drop a little bit of P-Tex just in those two. Again, that we can get away with up this end. Again, a bit of a nice clean up on the base. Again, and that one there. There's a bit of a gouge just there, which I think I may drop a little bit, and there's a little hole just here. So I might just P-Tex this and that one there. This one here is obviously had a little bit more unluckiness with it, but we'll have a look at that. I'll try and get that as cleaned as possible. It's not going to distract from the ski's performance in any way, shape or form. Just like to make sure that it's all uniform. So we'll get on now and clean the bases up on these. The edges are all done, and then we'll get into waxing. So you'll see me P-Tex and clean, P-Tex and clean, and then straight into a wax, then we'll have a conversation, obviously with the wax already on there, and go from there, guys. Okay, so these Dynastars, I've got all the wax freshly laid on them. I'm going to get these stripped off now and make sure I can get these fully detailed and cleaned up. We've got the nylon brush, which we'll be using after scraping all the wax off. And then we'll be going on to the horsehair brush just to polish that surface up. And then what I will do is I'll Teflon the edges to stop any corrosion, obviously between now and when hitting the slopes. So they look as fresh as this for as long as possible. So yeah, these I think are going to polish up rather nice. A lovely clean edge here. This was pretty rusty, excuse the wax. These have cleaned up lovely. So the actual top coat themselves has cleaned up when obviously sharpening the side rails. So that's come up absolutely phenomenal. I will just detail the top coats before getting into the skis. So I'm going to pop a cloth down on both of these and just clean up the top coats and make sure they look all ship shape and shiny. So when it's wax, I don't obviously need to disturb that again. And yeah, like I say, all the settings on all the actual base, should we say bindings are all done. And one thing is, when you adjust the back here, make sure you got the distance right. It's actually adjusting to make sure you've got enough toe pressure. And like I say, these are set to a DIN setting of 6 front and 6 at the back for intermediate skier. And obviously with all the dimensions of the weights, height and ability and the size of the boot taken into consideration, I think these are going to clean up lovely. So let's get into it, pop it on time lapse, let's burn through these two, and that's the first set of a family set of skis all done. Let's crack on. Okay guys, so another evening in the workshop and we have finished these skis off. These are looking superb. I'll quickly put a before video up and I think you'll agree we've got some great darkness in the base there. Those edges are looking superb and I am really pleased with how these skis have come out. Really pleased. They've come up extremely well. They were actually very good condition anyway, but we've got that darkness back in the base. They are super smooth. I'll get these wrapped up for the customer and shipped back to them Along with the boot, the bindings are set up. I will quickly put a picture of the settings for the bindings so the customer can actually see that if they ever need to refer back to it, so they know exactly where their boots are set up to on their skis. But yes, here we go. If you're on my channel, please go across, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and why not share your ski photos with me on Instagram? Go across to there. I'll put my name just at the bottom, but it's simple. It's Ride Right Waxing. And obviously my Facebook page. If you want to leave me a review, please feel free to do so. But until next time, let's jump onto the second set of skis for this family and get those finished off tonight. And I will see you very soon.